this session of product design and value engineering. In today's session, we will discuss different criteria of material selection. As we have discussed in previous session that we use some matrices, some methods to select the materials or to compare between two different materials, how to analyze those two different materials properties, because every material has some different properties and each of them have some advantages and some disadvantages. So how to compensate with them, how to comprehend all these information, and how to select the best material that is suitable for your application, or at least a better one than you have. This will be discussed in today's lesson. Let us start off different evaluation methods of material selection. There are many methods available. In today's session, what we will be discussing are the selection with computer-aided database, then material performance indices, use of matrix method, use of material selection by PERG method, and weighted property index. Also, now we are familiar about this computer-aided database system because you also have studied CAD in your previous lesson. In your previous year's lessons, you have studied the subject called computer-aided design. Okay, so you are familiar with what is CAD. Now, along with CAD, when you go in a section where you build a model and you go with option of giving the property of material to that model, then you have different options available with you for materials. Now, each of these materials that you select will have a database of properties available with them. Also, you can build separate databases for those properties of materials itself only. What you will do is you will simply put your requirements in the system. You will just type that, okay, I need this amount of strength, I need this amount of conductivity, I need this amount of elasticity, and the computer-aided database will screen out all the materials that have desired properties. Now, after those screening of materials, you can give some another extra criteria to shorten the list of those available materials. You can give the criteria of say cost or availability nearby your area, and you select material from those given material from database itself. So this is very simple method of how to select the materials. Very easy, very quickly. But what is the problem? The problem is it requires a large amount of time to build those databases. Otherwise, we can see that its advantages are that it is quick, easy to use, reduce time, and we can put upper and lower limit on material properties so that we can quickly grasp the idea of which materials should be more suitable for us. But it is very difficult to come up with a database which have a comprehensive list of all these properties. So that is a tedious task. After that, it is all easy. Okay. Now, what is this material performance index? So, material performance index is a relation with different properties which defines the performance aspect. For example, if you are selecting a material for a particular product, say you are selecting material for a bottle of cold drink. Let's say you are selecting a material for bottle of cold drink. Now, which properties you need in your material? You need that it should be food grade, it should not do any reactions with the CO2 or acidic liquid that you are putting, because basically cold drink is a very mild acid because it has CO2, so it will be producing some form of acidity. activities will be there. So you want to make sure that it does not corrode all the time, and also it should be easily manufactured with a very good aesthetic. Aesthetic is also very important when you are talking about those type of products, cold drinks, etc. Because many people will purchase the food products based on the appearance only. So all these criteria you will be considering. Now, how to incorporate all these different criteria into single index? Because ultimately you are comparing two different things, and you want to make sure that they are both the one you are selecting is not just excelling in one dimensional, but it is excelling when you are comparing all different properties. So this material property index will combine all these properties into single index, and you just have to compare the single index with different materials. For example, let us take an example. It represents optimum solution for all the components. If we want lightweight and tough material, suppose for bicycle we want lightweight and tough material, and it should have high strength and low density, because lightweight means low density and tough means high strength. So for that we can come up with a property which will be something like that, an index which will be a strength divided by its density. If the density decreases, then our index goes high because our weight is reducing, and if the strength increases, then also our index goes high because our strength is increasing. And from the available material, what we are doing, we are simply choosing the material with the high value of M. So this is what we mean by this material selection index. The next method is matrix method. How this matrix method will work? So basically, in matrix method we are making a matrix in which we are considering three types of properties. We will see. So material requirements can be divided into three major groups, and we are making a matrix out of that. The three groups are go/no-go parameters, non-discriminating parameters, and discriminating parameters. So what no-go parameters are? There will be some parameters which we only require. We do not need any. We do not give any emphasis of how much we are achieving in those parameters. For example, we want a material which is conductive. Now I do not care if it is a very high conductive or it is a moderate level of conductor of electricity. I simply want something that is conductive and it will fulfill my task. So those are go/no-go parameters, that it should have this quality. We do not worry about up to which extent we can achieve that quality. So, for example, I might want a material which have minimum strength of 50 megapascal. So, after 50 megapascal, if my material has 60 megapascal or 100 megapascals of strength, I don't have any opinion on that, or I do not feel any difference between the material of a strength of 50 megapascal and 100 megapascal, because for my application both are equivalently suitable. So those parameters are known as go/no-go parameters. Either you want that material satisfies your conditions, or it does not satisfy. Up to which extent it satisfies does not matter. But if as your quality or as your desired properties level of performance increases, your desiredness of that material also increases, then those are called as non-discriminating parameters. Those non-discriminating parameters means that as the material property increases, you also want that materials more. And in discriminating parameters, you just cannot separate those two. For example, We are just separating the materials based on our intuition, or these are, we can say, is qualitative parameters rather than quantitative. For example, aesthetics. We cannot put a number on aesthetic. It is based on the taste of a person. So those are discriminating parameters, and we build a matrix of those materials that okay, these are materials I have, these are the properties I want, and if the material is taking all the properties or not. That's all we are doing, and we are selecting a material from that. Another method is PERG method. This method is mainly useful when you have a candidate material and you want to check if there is another better solution available or not. Or when you already have a product and you want to change your material, or you want to explore the options of changing the materials, then the PERG method is very useful. What we are doing in the PERG method, we are making a list of all the properties that we want, and we are giving our material which we have selected or which we wish to use as a datum, and we compare other candidates. For here, given A, material A is our datum, and B, C, D, and E as other candidates. So what we do, we compare those with our datum. If the material excels than our datum, then we put plus marks there. If it does not excel or performs poorly than our datum, then we put a minus marks there. And after putting those plus and minus, we simply count how many plus are there and how many minus are there. So material with more pluses and less minuses will be better than the datum. But if all the material have more minuses and less number of pluses, then our datum will be better, because all other materials are less desirable than the datum material. So this is very simple material. When we put a list of materials and we list different properties and compare those materials in a matrix form. The another method is weighted property method. Now the problem or disadvantage with the PERG method was that we only see that are the materials better than our datum or not. We do not give any weight to how much better our material is, and we also do not give any importance to the desired properties. We list all the properties that we require, and we assume that all are equally important, but that will not be case in general. There will be some properties which are more important than the other. So for that, we provide weights to those different properties, and we give numbers for how much better materials are performing for those particular properties. For example, this is how we calculate or we use weighted property method. We will list out different properties or different criteria for material selection, and we will assign some weight to those criteria. Then we will list out all the candidate materials, candidate A, B, C, and D, and then we will multiply the weight by the fulfillment of the property. For example, in the crossed line, the weight is 4, and candidate A satisfies that criteria with 3. Now, how we will give those numbers? If the material is bad, then we give 1. If it is better than 1, then 2. If it is average, then 3. If it is better than average, then 4. And if it is best, then we give a score of 5. So, in the cross criteria, candidate A has score of 3. That means candidate A is average in terms of cost. So we multiply both this, 4 multiplied by 3, and we have a number 15. So that's how we calculate all this. And after these giving weights, we sum up those weights, and the summation will be compared, and the material with highest numbers will be selected. Here we have tie between material A and material C. So this tie can be break according to one's own judgment. Also, this is just for reference. Many times it will happen that you will select material D which have score of 56, which is just one less than 57, but you feel that I may have missed some things during the process because the D is clearly better choice than C. That depends on the personal experience, but this is how a weighted property method can be analyzed. It is very quantitative, so it gives a solid idea and requires less experience to execute compared to qualitative methods. Because here we are dealing with numbers, and anyone who can do summations can achieve these indexes. Okay. And now, how economical considerations should be done in materials. So, this is also an important criteria while selecting a material. What we are considering is not only cost of raw material, but also how much cost will be there in processing and how much cost will be there in disposing. Uh, for example, if we consider cost of raw materials only, then you might feel that plastic is much better material than glass. But if you think about the sustainability and long run, and if you think that cost of processing the plastic, cost of disposing is very high, so you might opt for glass also. For example, if you are running a soda shop, let's say, and you have option to use plastic glasses and glass made of glass. That is a complex sentence, I know, but glass made of glass. So if you use plastic glasses, then what will happen is it will be low cost for a single glass, and for glass made of glass you will have to invest more initially. But plastic is not reusable, where glass is reusable, so you have to keep on purchasing plastics. Also, you have to dispose these plastics, so you have to go somewhere to dispose it. In case of glass, there is no such problem. So all this also should be considered while considering the cost of raw material. And you have to balance between performance and cost always, because the high performance material will always tend to have a high cost. So you want to make sure that your cost is not increasing so much. Also, you are not compromising very much with your performance. Your performance should also be there. So this is what should be considered while we consider the economics of materials. This will be all for this session. Thank you.